You're gonna need to say that again. They're missing? All of them. We just got word that the Infinity is missing. The ring gone. No one knows where.
We're coming out to the facility, Commander. No sign of trouble.
Take us in. It's been confirmed that a portion of our forces are missing. Chief, the other Spartans, gone.
Halo Infinite has powerfully demonstrated that humanity is severely on the back foot. We are as we were at the beginning of this journey. We are the underdogs. We are being dominated by an aggressive foe that revels in war. But in spite of that, humanity endures. It continues. It lives and fights with hope. Are united and galvanized against our alien aggressors for the benefit of all. Humanity were beaten back over and over and over again during the Human Covenant War. We once had 800 worlds colonized across the Orion arm of the galaxy. That was dwindled to a few dozen by the Covenant alone. Billions dead. The created would follow. The Guardians rising from many colonies left even more people in ruin, lost even more lives, silenced even more colonies. The Banished have arrived, and humanity are scattered, defeated, crushed. The Guardians effectively shut Earth down at the end of Halo 5, and continued to destroy the UNSC headquarters in Sydney shortly thereafter. The Master Chief will always be a rally cry for humanity. He will always be a beacon of hope, but there was one other. The UNSC Infinity, the flagship of the UNSC and a powerhouse in and of itself. Humanity's finest achievement. And a warship so powerful it could stand up against the full might of Julam Dama's Covenant remnant, while being gravitationally locked to Requiem, unable to move. Yet, Infinity falls. How were the Banished able to do this? Well, there is one theory. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and following a chat that we had in the voice channels of my Discord as of late, I had a conversation with Bear, one of our esteemed members of the Discord. We were talking about some interesting plot points of Halo Infinite, and he made an interesting point and proposed a theory. And to be honest, I can see that the theory holds water, so we're going to explore that theory here today. It's focused specifically at the UNSC Infinity and how humanity's most powerful flagship vessel fell to the Banished so quickly and so easily.
If you knew how you were going to die. Live your life differently.
My name is Atriox, and I am the last face you will ever see.
Halo Infinite appears to pick up immediately following the legendary ending of Halo 5 Guardians. But that doesn't mean that the events that happened in Halo 5 Guardians and then what happened here in Halo Infinite had nothing happening in between. In fact, quite a lot happened in between, narratively speaking. But to put a slightly finer point on it, we don't actually see or know what happened or precipitated this conflict, where the Banished overrun Infinity and Atriox and Master Chief came face to face. We don't know anything about what led up to the series of events. All we know for certain is that Commander Agrena said that the Infinity and Zeta Halo had disappeared, that Infinity was seemingly attacked and fell to the Banished, that Atriox and Master Chief came face to face, and after a rather one-sided battle against Atriox, Master Chief spent the next 6 months floating in space. And don't worry, rest assured we'll get round to exactly how that was able to happen in my next most detailed breakdown. We can piece together some of the boarding action and events that happened around about the time that Infinity was under siege from the audio logs that you can find on the surface of Zeta Halo, but aside from that, the only other information we know is this.
You were there when we struck the Infinity. The first dreadnought came from the side. In the chaos that followed, you hardly had time to notice the other three bear down upon you. Do you know how long it took us to neutralize your greatest ship? 4 minutes! In 4 minutes, the Infinity, mankind's finest achievement, became a memory.
4 minutes. 4 minutes is all it took for humanity's most powerful warship to fall to the Banished. Just 4 minutes. And let's just consider here, in the cutscene, the opening cutscene of Halo Infinite, we see a Banished ship literally ramming the Infinity from the side, and her hull is just splintering under that force. And that's not immediately surprising if you consider the material properties of the hull plating and the amount of force that's at work here with 2 multi-million ton ships slamming into each other. But we've seen other footage from the Infinity which paints a very different picture. In fact, right here from Spartan Ops.
The way I see it, if those freaks want to meet God, it's our duty to help them along.
Now, Infinity was already painted out as being an extraordinarily advanced and immensely powerful warship just through the campaign of Halo 4, but in Spartan Ops, we actually saw firsthand the UNSC Infinity ramming a heavy cruiser. Her shields took all of the damage, and nothing made it through to her hull. And while, yes, admittedly there is a size discrepancy obviously between the heavy cruiser as pictured in Spartan Ops and the Banished Dreadnought that we see in Halo Infinite, but it's still much the same kind of impact, and yet the Banished Dreadnought just ploughed through the Infinity like it was nothing. So that leaves me with one very simple conclusion. The UNSC Infinity shields weren't up. They weren't active at the moment of this strike. Now, I don't believe for a second that the Banished actually have weaponry powerful enough to drop all of Infinity's shields moments before an impact, considering that Eshram himself said that the attack started with just one ship striking from the side, and in the chaos that ensued, we didn't see the other 3 that were inbound on our location. So that suggests that just one Banished Dreadnought had the firepower to drop the UNSC Infinity shields completely, and then plough into the side of her and splinter her hull apart like that, even though the shields could take a direct impact with a heavy cruiser with no problems whatsoever. So if the Banished didn't take the Infinity shields down, who did? Well, again, the answer, I think, can be found on the surface of Zeta Halo. For anyone who's explored Zeta Halo, there's some beautiful vistas to be seen. There's some wonderful storytelling and narrative to be drawn out of the conflict that happened on the build-up to the start of Halo Infinite's active campaign and the Master Chief's venture across its surface. You can see the scarring on the surface of the ring from crashed ships of all sizes, from frigates to Bumblebee escape pods. But there's also another wreckage. A wreckage we can't actually get to, but it's noticeable off in the distance. And to most who are familiar with the Halo universe, that form is the wings of a Guardian. There is a downed Guardian on Zeta Halo. Now that's interesting, because a Guardian actually does have the firepower and the ability to drop the shields of the Infinity. The EMP pulse alone could drop the shields and render the ship almost inoperable. Now, the idea that the Guardian actually used its EMP and left the Infinity dead in space with no shields, that's pretty much not what happened, because we can actually see that there's still power working on board the ship on the opening cutscene. So the EMP pulse most definitely isn't the case, but that isn't the only weapon that the Guardians have. Other weapons, beam-type weapons, were demonstrated in some of the flashback holographic data packets that were happening around Chief and the weapon during their journey through some of the depths of Zeta Halo's facilities, particularly in regards to the way in which Cortana wielded the Guardians against the Jiralhane's homeworld of Doizac and the UNSC headquarters in Sydney. The Guardians have an extraordinarily powerful beam weapon. Now, the beam weapon will be much like a Sentinel beam, just massively scaled up. That would have the ability to strip the shields of Infinity off with no issue whatsoever. But of course, the Infinity is sporting 4 Series 8 Mac cannons, and we already know that a volley of rounds from those guns can punch a hole clean through the Mantle's approach, one of the most sophisticated and powerful Forerunner warrior servant ships in existence. So the Infinity didn't go down without a fight. In fact, I think the Infinity scored a kill. I think what's happened here is the Infinity arrived at Zeta Halo. Likely because at the very end of Halo 5 Guardians, Cortana activated Zeta Halo. She had plans for Zeta Halo, likely involving the Endless. When Infinity caught wind of this, they made a beeline for Zeta Halo, because whatever was of interest to Cortana and the Created didn't bode well for the rest of the life that were defying her around the galaxy. They couldn't allow a Halo ring to fall into the hands of Cortana and her Created. When they arrived, they were immediately confronted by a Guardian. The Guardian wasted no time. It fired its primary beam weapon and stripped the Infinity shields off in moments. Unfortunately, the UNSC weren't the only individuals who found out about Cortana making a beeline for Zeta Halo. The Banished were in pursuit, primarily because she destroyed their homeworld. The Infinity, now with no shields but confronted face to face with a Guardian, had no other option but to fight. There was no option to turn and run in this scenario, as the Infinity would have been gunned down before she'd even attempted to do so. So, the main guns were fired, and that volley was powerful enough to smash the Guardian clean from the sky. The Guardian fell and crash-landed on the surface of Zeta Halo. They likely celebrated for just a moment before they were collided with by a Banished dreadnought. And in the chaos that ensued as a consequence, while the armour and the structure was being peeled away by the immense mass of the Banished dreadnought, 3 more closed in on the Infinity. The Banished took an opportunity. They were confronted with humanity's most powerful warship, vulnerable, weakened, and distracted. And like any good warrior would, they seized the opportunity. They attacked full force, and Infinity fell. But you tell me, does this theory hold water? Does this theory have merit? Could this be what happened to the UNSC Infinity? And if that is the case, where's the rest of her wreckage? Because it certainly isn't orbiting Zeta Halo. We would have seen it. She's a huge ship. Where's the rest of her? What happened to the remains of the Infinity? Or is she still at least partially active? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Pop them in the comments and let's get a discussion going. Until then. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below. I look forward to what you have to say. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons and YouTube members Neek the Silent Cartographer, Siphonic Storm and Todd Morrison, my Tier 0 Transcendients, Brian, Sebastian, Darian, Red Sea, Stalk of the Realms, Falcon X003, Starlight, Alvin, Flaming Halo, Josh, Legions Lost, Kyle, Cat Erdicam, Schneidish, Leon, Ignizzle, Chris, Cooper, Prophet, and Devon, the holders of the mantle, my glorious reclaimers, my loyal Metarchs, and all the other patrons and YouTube members that have jumped aboard to support the channel. Much love to you guys. Thanks so much for your support. It's keeping things happening and helping development of the channel and future awesomeness in a big way. If you like Halo lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels, including Discord, and if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon and supporting the channel over there, or jumping on as a channel member. It means the world to me and affords you loads of great perks and bonuses, while also helping work towards some awesome stuff in the near and distant future. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.